According to the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, childhood obesity rates have tripled over the past 3 decades. And today, America has one of the highest childhood obesity rates in all of the world. The statistics demonstrate that 1 out of 6 children is obese and 1 out of 3 children are either obese or overweight. Which raises the question, what role do parents play in making sure that their child remains active, fit, and places a priority on their overall health? Sheila Carroll is a board-certified pediatrician. She's a mom, a life coach, and she's dedicated to helping children achieve their best health. She does this by working with parents who are willing to modify their own behaviors in order to optimize their child's health. She's developed a guide that any parent can follow to help their child achieve their ideal weight. Carol was gracious enough to grace me with her presence to engage in conversation about accountability on behalf of both the parent and the child, the current state of childhood obesity and childhood health, and how we can all raise healthier and happier kids. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Sheila, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program. And I'm super excited to talk to you today about children's health. Great to be with you this afternoon. And thank you so very much for a few minutes.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Sheila, I know that you've spent nearly 2 decades as a pediatrician and a wellness and lifestyle coach, and you've treated a lot of sick kids, but you also tell me that it's also about the lifestyle that children are living that contributes to their overall health. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about all the great work that you do and why it's so vitally important to you.
Sure. So I've been a pediatrician now for almost 23 years. And a lot of that time I spent in the hospital taking care of kids who were quite sick. You have to be pretty sick to get into the hospital these days. And then the past few years, I was doing what we call outpatient medicine, where we're a general pediatrician, where parents take their kids in for their checkup, or if they're having a problem with really anything that's not acute enough to go to the hospital. And I was seeing a lot of, what we would consider lifestyle problem, or I guess we're seeing a lot of problems like anxiety, depression, overweight, school behavior problems, sleep problems, things that have lifestyle medicine basis. And so I got really interested in trying to figure out the best way for parents to help their kids. Because if you're bringing your child to the pediatrician for, say, a weight problem, you're concerned that your child is overweight, or your child is concerned, you have a very short visit with a pediatrician, you can get some good information, but the parents are best suited to be the ones to really be helping their child on a daily basis. And it's the same thing for anxiety, depression, so I got really interested in how can I educate and empower parents to feel confident that they can really help their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you work exclusively sometimes with parents looking to modify their own behavior. So tell me about that and the importance that you place on parents really being invested in their child's health.
Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, in all of my years, I know every parent is invested in their child's health. Every parent just loves their child so much. So starting from that place, I don't think parents feel confident. I don't think parents really understand the power that they have available to them. So, for example, just take nutrition, food choices. It's very challenging to have your child be eating what we would recommend, a healthy diet. Lots of whole foods, unprocessed foods. A child's really not going to be able to eat that if the parent is not on board buying that, eating that themselves, serving that to their child. And the same thing with other things like sleep and movement. So our kids are watching us all the time and learning from what we're doing. And so really the message, because honestly, the same health things that we want for our kids, we want for our parents. We want us parents to be as healthy as possible too in all those regards.
Yeah, and I know that you've created a guide that parents can use to really monitor how healthy their kids actually are. So tell me about the guide you've created and the effectiveness of it as well.
So the guide is called 10 Simple Steps to Help Your Child Achieve a Healthy Weight. And it touches on a variety of different aspects of health. And while I put a healthy weight in the title of the guide, what I'm really going for is overall well-being and overall health. Yes, weight sometimes is a marker of health at times, but really, a lot of parents are looking for ways to help their child with their weight. But the guide is really speaking to how do we create a healthy lifestyle for this child or the whole family at home that is going to just improve their health and their overall well-being. So it talks about things like hydration, drinking water, eliminating juice, eliminating soda, and the importance of stressing water in your life. It talks about sleep, the importance that our kids need sleep. Frankly, we all need sleep. Sleep is like, I love sleep. Sleep is like to me, it's not low-hanging fruit, because it is hard to turn off our phones. It is hard to wind down and decompress, but there are so many wonderful health benefits from sleep that I don't think the average person really knows, really understands the importance of sleep. So my guide was just to try to give people a general outline of things to do. Or strategies that they could take to approach. And I recommend in the guide to pick one thing. Don't try to change everything at once. It's too overwhelming. Pick one thing, do it for a week, see how it goes. And, it's kind of a double step because if the parent's not doing that themselves, it's going to be very challenging to have the child do it. So, it might take 2 weeks. The parent does it themselves for a week, feels better, and realizes, oh, this is so helpful. I will really help my child get more sleep or drink more water or whatever the goal is for the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sheila, you forgot one thing: sleep is free, right? It doesn't cost
Totally.
any money, right?
No, it's hard for people to get the right amount of sleep. Kids don't like going to bed. It's a lot of work. Parents, honestly, if you have little kids or, sometimes parents put their kids to bed and then they need downtime or they think they need downtime to relax. I used to feel this way. Oh, finally he's in bed. I have a little bit of free time to myself, where it would have been a better use of my time just to go to bed myself, but I would stay up and watch a movie or read a book or scroll or whatever. So sleep, it sounds easy, but it's one of those things where you actually have to really do it on purpose.
Absolutely. Sheila, tell me, what do you think the key is to shifting mindsets and creating good habits when it comes to children's health?
Well, that's the $1,000,000 question, I think. Because what we really want is to create intrinsic motivation in our kids, meaning we want our kids to want to do all of these things. I have an 11-year-old son named Theo, and I want Theo to want to eat healthy foods. I want him to want to do his homework. I want him to want to go to bed on time. So how do we foster intrinsic motivation in our kids? And I think there's a lot of research into this. And education, first of all, is one thing. Kids like to understand why they're doing something. And then the other piece would be fostering autonomy in your child and giving your child, having your child understand that the choices they're making are going to have impact on them now in the present, but also in the future. And this is what we do for our kids all the time with alcohol or drugs or cigarettes or whatever. We we try to teach them, and as they age into that phase of their life where they have more ability to make choice, we hope we have given them the building blocks that they can stand strong on. And I think it just needs to be the same thing for lifestyle. We really just need to dial in and and understand how nutrition in today's world, the processed foods, this environment that we're living in, and how our bodies, our very ancient bodies, haven't evolved to really do well in this processed food environment. The same thing with our brains and social media and other things. So education and empowerment for our kids, and fostering their autonomy.
Yeah, absolutely. And building on parts of your last answer, Sheila, I'm curious to also ask you on a more broader scale, how would you sort of assess the state of pediatric health today?
Well, there's been so many amazing advances in health, and so pediatrics, we can help people with their so many diseases that we couldn't have even a few years ago. So I think in certain regards, there's, amazing health for acute illnesses and chronic diseases in pediatrics. I think what we could also be focusing on, and I think what so many doctors are trying to help people with, and so many parents, is is overall well-being. As we say we want our kids to be healthy, and we also want them to be, feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their life, living their life on purpose, so to speak. So I think we can try to foster that in the pediatric health world as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Sheila, I'm a firm believer that we make time in life for the things that we prioritize, right? So tell me, how do you think we can make child's pediatric health a priority for parents to really be invested in?
That is such a good question. And I mean, honestly, I think that most parents feel they do prioritize their child's health. And it might just be, even if they're eating a lot of fast food or a lot of processed foods. And I think that piece is education piece. So I think we need to do a better job as in the medical world of really helping parents understand what we really mean by a healthy lifestyle. Parents definitely prioritize kids' education. Lots of parents prioritize extracurricular activities, certainly sports and music for kids. It can be more challenging for a healthy lifestyle kind of things, which includes like diet, nutrition, sleep, movement, emotional regulation skills, because sometimes the kids push back and they don't want to do those things. So it's a little bit harder, I think, at times.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sheila, you're really on the front lines talking to parents and kids every day of the work that you do. So I'm curious, when you talk to parents and really get on the front lines of pediatric health, what are they talking to you about? Their concerns, their hopes, and what they see in the future for their kids when it comes to their health.
Well, I think, most parents, all parents, every single parent I've ever met wants their kid to be healthy. And the question is, how do you go about implementing strategies? And every family is different, and every child is different, every parent is different, and people do have different priorities. And so there's lots of advice out there too, on what to do. And a lot of it is conflicting. Even within the medical community, you'll find physicians, really high, like expert physicians. Some are recommending a whole food, plant-based diet. This is the key to health. Other physicians are recommending, higher fat, low carb, that diet. That's the key to health. So it can be very confusing out there. So that's where I think parents need to, or would really benefit from, what is my core value? What is one of my values as a parent? How do I want to show up being the parent for my child with regards to their health? And each parent decides on purpose for their individual self and their individual child what they're going to be doing, working, actively working on continuing to be healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Sheila, March is Women's History Month, and yesterday, of course, was International Women's Day. So tell me, What do those occasions mean to you, and why do you think it's important to celebrate the contributions that women have made to society?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so it's so there's so many wonderful women if we just talk physicians, there's so many wonderful women doctors taking great care of their patients. There's a lot of data that support that patients are happier when they have a woman physician. I think that surrounds empathy and taking time with patients. When you mention that to me, even though it's like Women's History Month, what really comes up for me too is also the inequity that we still face as women, and the gender pay gap. I experienced that myself in medicine for my whole 20 years in medicine. And so yes, we've come such a long way, but we have a long way to go too, to achieve more equitable circumstances for women.
Yeah, and just building on that very quickly, I'm curious to ask your thoughts on the concept of resilience, and what does resiliency mean to you, both personally and professionally?
Resilience. I was just having this discussion with my son actually, because I live up here in Maine, and we had a big snowstorm a couple of days ago, and our lilac tree was completely not broken, but bent down to the ground.
Okay.
And so I was talking to him. He was graciously listening to me, but we were talking about like this is a form of resilience. Like, you bend but don't break. Keep going. And so resilience to me is the willingness to keep trying. It's so important in our health journeys, because we are going to be, trying things. And then the next day we might, slip up, or you wouldn't even call it a mistake, but just not do what we wanted to do. But then being resilient and getting back on, track, not beating ourselves up that we made a mistake. So I guess resilience to me is just keep going, being willing to keep trying, tolerating some missteps, tolerating some failure. Keep going.
Yeah, we only have one life to live, so we might as well maximize it, right?
Yeah, agree. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Sheila, my final question for you today has to do with your own personal and professional legacy and how you want that to be defined.
Well, my personal legacy, I am so lucky. I have a wonderful, family, and I have such a wonderful relationship with my son, and we have such close friends. So I guess my personal legacy would be of deep connection, meaningful connection, love, supporting people. My professional legacy, I'm still working on that. And that would be more of continuing to care for people, reduce suffering. Just try to help people feel better, enjoy their lives, be free, be free in your life to live the life you want.
And it's all about paying it forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Sheila, finally tell me, if people want to get connected with you, what's the best way they can do that?
Oh, I have a website that anybody could go to, www.sheilacarrollmd.com. If you wanted a copy of the 10 simple steps to help your child achieve a healthy weight, there's a link to that on the website as well. Or if people really wanted, they could just email me at sheilacarrollmd@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Well, Sheila, I really want to commend you for the good work that you do in childhood pediatrics and trying to develop a world of health of your kids, your work in the space and time on my behalf. It's most appreciated, and I want to thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you, Kevin.